All right, let's jump back into our scenario from yesterday. If you haven't watched yesterday's reel, be sure to watch that first and then come back to this one. First of all, we don't have enough information quite yet to develop a good plan of action for the student, and we need to respond back to the email or simulate making a phone call to that person. So we need to start some role play here. Role play is really a great way to play around with these real world scenarios, but it's a two-way street. So whoever you're doing this role play with needs to have put some thought into the scenario on how they're going to answer your questions. They need to have kind of a character in mind. Am I simulating somebody that's pretty stable and competent, or am I simulating somebody that has a lot of maybe negative behaviors that are going to be challenging to deal with? It's very common for me in a CFI check ride to portray both types of characters, because on the one hand, I want to drive the scenario to cover different aspects of the ACS, but on the other hand, I do want to portray a character that has some negative behaviors, maybe some abnormal behaviors, so I can see how the CFI applicant is going to deal with that situation. In any case, it's probably best to start down here at the skills section of whatever task you're trying to simulate with a scenario. The reason I say that is the ACS is actually pretty convenient in that if I address everything in these skills sections, I'll naturally wind up addressing risk management topics as well as knowledge topics. And remember, I only have to do one knowledge topic and at least one risk management topic, but I have to do all the skills. So again, if I start with the skills, I'll naturally finish the knowledge and risk management element. So an important question to ask our student when we get back in touch with them is, describe the type of flying that you've done recently in your Cessna 177 Cardinal. Another important question is, how comfortable do you feel in the plane right now? And then finally, I might ask, what type of flying do you expect to do on this vacation trip? And is this trip outside the norm of what you normally go out and do? So let's say for this scenario that we pick up the phone and call our potential student, and our student explains that they've been flying regularly over the past few months. In fact, they have about 200 hours logged in the 177 in the last year, which is a fair amount for a private pilot. They also tell you that this is a regular vacation spot that they've flown to multiple times and feel very comfortable going there. They do bring up one potential problem, and that is they're very busy at work right now and they'll only have time to fly after work. Now with this new information, what are your thoughts on this scenario? What questions do you have now? Drop them in the comments below and stay tuned for tomorrow.